showing up in here. That's wonderful. Or at least he
All
was.
right. Yeah.
Oh
Just
no, he still is. And
yeah.
Nikki, Paris just joined in. So today is healthy relationship topics. I want to talk about healthy relationships. I want to talk about knowing what a healthy relationship look like. How would you be able to identify one for you? That's what I want to get into today for the next
Yeah.
2 hours. Hey,
Got you.
Nikki.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So now, I guess I would say I knew that I was in a healthy relationship because just how me and my wife interacted, our conversations, our ability to be able to empathize with one another,
Hmm.
um, to hear each other out, and even when things went wrong, we knew how to fight.
Now, let me ask you this. How, and I normally don't ask this, so embrace it. How did that feel to you during those
Like a
moments when you were having those resolution moments, when you were communicating well about things you did not like versus things you do like that you don't talk about?
uncomfortable at times. Um, at first, it was uncomfortable, especially when I first like started to get to know her. It was like really uncomfortable because I didn't really know how she was gonna take it. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
as time went on, it got easier. It just got easier to be able to do it, being able to just let your shoulders down because you know you have a person that has your back and that's gonna be there, and that even though you disagree, you you're still on the same page. If that makes any sense.
Absolutely. I remember uh, the moment that I realized, holy crap, it feels good to be imperfect around him. You know,
Oh yeah,
I didn't have to worry about him leaving me because I did something wrong or because I said something wrong. I didn't, and so for me, I knew I was in a healthy relationship when it was easy being with him,
right,
being myself around him, the goofy me that many people rarely see, the imperfected me, the me that has to go through shit before I realize, okay, I'm doing it incorrectly.
right.
It feels light. It feels so good. Ooh, I like it.
But I think it took me time too, because even it impacted even when I my interactions with work and noticing becoming self aware. I guess the biggest thing is
Mm-hmm.
being aware of what I was doing and what I wasn't doing and how I was acting. Like, because a lot of times we act out of fear, and sometimes it doesn't come across as fear. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't come across as anxiety, and we think that it's okay when we think we okay, but a lot of times we do stuff drastically because we're innately acting out of some type of anxiety and trying to beat things to the punch, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you try to get out ahead of it. You
Right.
wanna get them before you get got, so to speak.
Right.
Eh,
So I think that was like the easiest. Like now, and I was telling somebody on the live yesterday, because they were lady, she was asking about dating and like she was 40 and she wanted to get out and start dating and stuff, and she had been single for a while. And I just
mhm.
told her like the biggest thing that I see that people are doing now is they're afraid to just be with somebody and just have fun with them.
Yes.
Just let your hair down and stop bringing these talking points and the defense mechanisms and men are this and women are that, and it's like just be happy and go on a date and have fun with somebody.
I think, no, let me rephrase that. I can remember when I realized I did not know what to do with a man, when I realized I didn't know what to do after I realized I got the man, you know? Because- no, real talk. One day I was in the bedroom, Quell, my man was at work, and I am just thinking about how blessed I am to have the guy. I got the guy. Oh my God, I finally got the guy. And then I remember asking myself, okay, now what? And I was like, huh, I got
Right.
the guy. Now what?
You haven't thought past go.
Yeah, I'm like, crap. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do with the guy that I got. Okay, I'm about to panic. What do I do with this man that I wanted so badly? I got the guy. Now what do I do with him? And that's when I realized that for all of my other previous relationships, I never thought past getting the guy.
Right.
Yeah, I got the guy, yay! And that was it. But with
Yeah.
this one, it was like, okay, I got the guy. And because I wanted to keep him, it was a question of now what? What the hell do I do with him? And then
Right.
I heard the voice, love upon him. And I was like, well, shit, I could do that. Yeah,
Yeah. It's,
I could do that.
it's. I think the thing that made it so clear too, though, with whenever in my marriage is that the fact that we talked about things and she was like a compliment to the plans that I already had. You know what I mean?
Nice, a compliment. Okay.
So like, I had an idea, and she was on board to help me try to figure out how to make it work or how to make it work better. And I think that's you guys' superpower, because sometimes we can't, as men, we can come up with the plan sometimes, but sometimes the small details we don't see sometimes. If that makes sense.
That makes absolute sense because a woman makes a house a home because we pay
Yeah.
attention to the small details.
Right.
That's why we never speak in a linear fashion. We have to go around the block, through the tunnel, over the bridge, through the roof, under the basement, and then come up from the front door and be like, okay, hey, how you doing? We're not linear.
Right.
So you're absolutely right. And I think that's where the complimentary comes in because um for me, I've never had a man that had a vision and a plan. I've
Right.
had men that have vision, okay? But I never had a man that had a vision and a plan.
Right.
So when I first got with my husband, before I got with my husband, this is before I even said, before I even agreed to be his woman,
Right.
I realized, holy crap, he has not only a vision, but a plan.
Right.
And I knew he had a plan because he had things that other men didn't come with, stock accounts, a savings, as simple as that may seem.
Right.
I don't know a lot of black men with savings accounts.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
And and his retirement funds and everything, like he is up on all of that. And
Right.
that's what allowed me to say yes because I felt comfortable and I felt safe knowing that he knew what he was doing. He was doing it before me.
Right. Exactly. And I think that's the one thing though that I do. I tell, even like with the conversations that people are having now with dudes being afraid of money. Like, I think we had this conversation before, and Venom was up here, and everybody keep fear mongering about money, but it's like dudes are leading with the wallet, and you wonder why you keep coming up with Keishas that only want certain things from you. So it's like, why you leading with the wallet for? Like, it's fine to do stuff with people, but most of the time, what do a lot of dudes lead with? I'll give you the moon, the stars, the sun. I'll give you all these things, and I'll do all these things for you. And it's instead of like finding out what kind of woman she is. And there's nothing wrong with a woman wanting nice things, but if you're gonna get mad about her that her certain lifestyle that she like, that's you, because you chose that.
Absolutely. It's like they don't understand that what you lead with is what you need to continue with because that's what the other person is going to be looking forward to. It's an expectation, right?
Right,
I mean, that's like me, getting married to a gazillionaire, right? Knowing
right,
he's a gazillionaire because he promised me that he's going to give me all of this.
right.
And then the gazillionaire is going to get mad at me because I want him to buy me stuff. Well, dude,
Exactly.
you're a gazillionaire.
And that's
You
what
know,
you
that's how
live
you
with.
got me.
Right.
Especially if I'm a gold digger, like, yeah, you can't dangle a carrot in front of a rabbit and get mad because he eats it.
Right. Exactly. And then that's the one thing that it's like somebody had pointed this out the other day too, and it's like it's a lot of dudes that just don't have personality. Like they might got all the other attributes, but it's like you got to have something to offer the woman, man. Like you got to actually have a person that they can talk to, that they can feel safe with. And you're in here trying to say, "Oh, I got all this stuff, and why don't that women don't want a good man?" But it's like you only got one side of the man. You ain't even the person. You just got all of the provider part. You ain't even got the personality to make sure that that woman can feel safe with you.
Okay, and with that being said, what about those that got it together? What about those men? You know, those men that got it together and they get with a woman who got it together. You know what I'm saying? Where they two come together and build that beautiful, healthy relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's
So
like for me, I think
yeah,
I find that most discussions that I have or I'm in a comment section for, they're a lot, they're often about, you know, negative, not negative, but toxic relationships. You know what I'm saying? I want to focus on the positive, the good
right,
relationships, the healthy
right.
relationships, because I think that as long as one is focusing on one thing, let's say it's the negative, they can never truly get to know or experience the
Right.
positive.
Right.
So,
So,
with
so I know the where I was gonna go with it is because that's the one thing where even when I get up here and I try to talk to people, the one thing I don't do is get up here and try to tell a woman that does not belong to me what to do. I try to get up here and I try to be a good example of what a good man is, and let people know based off of my relationship with my wife what a good relationship is. You know what I'm saying? And I don't get up here and try to sit there and say. I think the problem is a lot of times people try to tell women who they're not obligated to what to do, and that's not. It's not your job. If I'm not obligated to you, I'm not getting up here arguing with you. You know, I argue with my wife because I'm getting something from her. I have an obligation to her.
Yeah, I get that. I
Yeah.
know one thing for me. Well, I knew that I was the first time I realized that I was in a healthy relation. Well, not the first time, but another thing that allowed me to recognize that I was in a healthy relationship, right, was when I seen that he cared enough about me, right, to do things differently. And it wasn't a thing where he's doing something differently so that he can get something from me, but
Right.
it was more of inspired action. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that one of the key components of knowing that you are in a healthy relationship, when
Mm-hmm.
both of the people that are in it are going through inspired action.
So you saying based off of somebody, your actions is based off of the other person. It's based off the other person. It's not necessarily you're expecting anything from them, but it's based off of the other person's presence and what they do for you.
Exactly. Like, for instance,
Yeah.
my husband and I were having a conversation before I came on this live, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had told him, I said, um, I remember when in the beginning, when we were, in the beginning a few years ago, you used to use the term all woman, and then there would be something that was said that could be taken in a negative way, and I would get upset, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want you to stop saying all women because I told you, feel what you want to feel, do what you want to do, think what you want to think, right? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
your freedom. So instead of me trying to tell you, you need to stop saying that, what I did was that I had to ask myself, one, why does that bother me? You
Right.
know, what I mean? Especially if I say that I know that I am spirit, I'm not the body, then why am I taking on the woes of the
Personal,
body?
right? Why are you
Yeah,
taking something personally when you know it's not directed towards you?
exactly. So that led me to know that, well, what I said that I believe wasn't as strong or rooted as I thought.
Yeah.
That was number one. But number two, it also allowed me to appreciate the way other people express themselves.
Right.
I can't tell somebody to not use a word because I don't like it. No, that's for me not to use the word because I don't like it. But it's not for me to tell somebody, oh, don't use the word because, it's a trigger. Who cares? All right? Like, who cares?
So
They
when
need
when you
that
say
person to
this,
get
it's
therapy.
when you
Good.
say this, it's you trying to influence the relationship, because it's just like what I'm finding is that when I naturally let something happen, instead of me trying to be dictator over it and kind of just have discussions and let the relationship flow, I get inspired in different ways rather than me trying to control the whole situation. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I just think it's terrible, because if you try to just dictate the whole thing, because then it's just like you might as well be in a relationship by yourself.
First of all, I would not be in a relationship with a dictator. No, I can't.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do when I want to do it. I'm gonna say what I want to say. I'm gonna do I'm gonna exercise my innate free will.
Right.
And because I know that you're gonna do the same thing, because it's the nature of the spirit.
Right.
Like, you're not gonna tell me what I can and cannot do. I am an adult with 3 grandchildren.
Right.
I got grandkids. There's no way in hell you're going to tell me what I can and cannot do. You
Right.
out your damn mind. So you're going to either accept everything that I do or leave me be. It's your
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah. Because I've been finding me just kind of going through my life and just like kind of just doing what I do naturally without having any kind of trying to have a rule with an iron fist. That I get more out of my wife because she's like, because she wants to do it based off of me,
Mm-hmm.
based off of who I am, and not trying to just yell about stuff and trying to control the situation. But when I just naturally just, okay, I'm gonna just back off this and not press it so much, I get more out of her. You know what I mean? I get a whole lot more rather than trying to say, oh well, you got to do what I say and da 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 da. Nah, but she knows when I give her a certain look, I'm done with the conversation. Or sometimes I know I have to be a little softer because I'm I know I can be a little abrasive sometimes. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's respecting one's individualism.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, like my husband, I'm looking at the look right now in my head. He gives me a look that has me say, I think you need to stop now. You know what I'm saying? And it's because I know him, and it's a respect of his individuality. You know, um, I know his likes and I know his dislikes. I
Right.
try my best to stay away from his dislikes because I don't want his experience with me to be insufferable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
I
like
understand.
I don't want him to think of me, and in those thoughts he's feeling any type of discomfort or anger or animosity, resentment, or any of those things. I don't like that.
Right.
Now, let's say I'm doing I know my intentions are pure, my intentions are good, my intentions are right. If he takes it another way, that's not on me. That's on you.
Right.
You need to deal with that. Maybe you need therapy. I don't know.
Right.
I'm not going to be a therapist because I don't think that I should be attracting someone who needs therapy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah.
I should be able to live what I preach. especially, or at least live what I teach.
Yeah, it's definitely a harder process when you gotta kind of guide somebody through their issues instead of them already having it together. It's definitely
I'm not guiding you through your issues.
yeah. But you understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that's for everybody. I'm saying it's definitely a tougher situation on top of the
Yeah,
relationship.
I mean, I'll
Yeah.
accept you with your issues, especially if you had those issues before I said yes.
Right.
And definitely before I said I do. Once I said I do, I knew that I would.
Right.
Because it wasn't that bad. It's something that I can look past.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
tolerate. Right.
yeah, it's like I've been through so much worse. Like you're like a daisy, okay, amongst thorns. I'll take you as
Right.
you are. Because to me, you are perfect. You're perfect for me. And I think that's another thing that is an identifier when you are able to grow and develop yourself
Right.
while in the relationship without requiring anyone else to change.
Exactly.
So was that a thing for you, or was that something you didn't need, you didn't experience? You
Referring to what exactly? Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I need to put my do not disturb on. Hold on. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so I think, okay, so is it a thing like with your wife, right? Before she became your wife,
Mm-hmm.
right after she became your woman, did you feel that either one of you had to change anything about you guys because the title changed?
Nah, I think what wound up happening is that just reality just set in, and I think the expectations of what marriage was um changed.
What do you
um
mean?
so
How so?
so what I believe marriage to be, I just thought it was going to change everything in our relationship. I just thought it was just based off of what everybody tell you about marriage. You know what I'm saying? What you generally hear, and it was just like one of those things with like wake up calls, like yeah, like it's not. It's a beautiful thing, but it's not what you think it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not no brisk walk, and um, I don't think we expected to change anybody, because I just think because of the relationship and the friendship we have with one another, we were able to work together to get through any issues that we had.
So, do you think that's another identifier? Like when you are fully accepted by the other person and the other person is fully accepted by you, and to the point where you guys embrace the differences?
Right. Yeah. I think that's a big one though. I think that's the big one, because I think a lot of times we don't accept the differences in people, and we expect them to be a certain way. In our mind, we already got an idea of who somebody should be in a relationship, and who our husband and our wife should be. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, hold on. Before you go further, you said something that was like awesome. So you said that in our minds that we have a general idea of how we want our mate or spouses to be.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that when we are picking our potential partners, that we are picking based on an imaginary idea more than we are picking based on the person in front of us character?
Yep. I think
Mm.
I think that's I think that's the biggest problem, man. Because I think people have. That's why I think people still search. You know what I mean? I think that's why they still kind of reach out to other people, because it's like, I'm not getting what I'm expecting. So this person's not fulfilling me as their husband, or as their spouse. So I'm gonna keep looking. I'm gonna keep looking. I'm gonna keep looking, instead of, and the whole time you have everything that
Right
you
there in
need.
front of you.
Right. It just it's not. It doesn't look. It doesn't look like you want it to. It just doesn't look how you envisioned it to be. And then, but notice what happens a lot of times when people are in like marriages and they wind up leaving somebody, or in relationships and leaving somebody, they wind up regretting it, like a lot of people do. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, I walked away from a good person
Because they were chasing a fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, let me ask you this. Who do you think does that more gender-wise? Men or women?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Whew. I don't. Oh my God. I don't. That's really tough because in different ways, both of them do it. But oh my God.
Hey, we up. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. How you been? How's everybody doing? Huh?
Good, good,
Good. Peace, brother.
good.
Peace, brother.
So
Peace, brother.
today's topic is healthy relationships, right? And identifying them.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I wanted you up because you're married. So yeah, I'm sure you've had both healthy and unhealthy relationships. So the question that I asked Quell, based on the way the conversation was going, was that who does he think picks based on fantasy versus actuality more gender-wise, males or females?
Young lady.
Hi, how are you? Happy New Year.
You as well. I'm okay.
So you've been in here for a while, so you pretty much know the question. So I want you and both we up to answer, because I want to talk about healthy relationships. We all know how to identify unhealthy relationships. We all know how to, identify red flags.
Yeah.
I want to know, how do you know that a relationship is actually a healthy one? What are the identifiers? Like, what was it that made you say, okay, this one is different?
You know, I would say this. I would say this off my relationship. A healthy relationship is a calm relationship. Have you ever
Mm.
been around a couple that was just like, both of them are like really calm? Like the man is really calm and the woman is really calm. Like they're both just really mellow. And I think that's a healthy relationship because you two are taking care of everything. The foundation is strong. There's nothing to stress about. You two are not stressing about nothing. Everything is just relaxed. I think those type of couples that I run into, and even for our couple, you know, I don't know. Usually a lot of couples they're like everywhere. You know.
To me, I would say, I would agree with what he has to say, but I would add to it, and I would say that a healthy relationship is going to have disagreements. But with that being said, as long as those disagreements are talked about and everything's taken care of right away, that's as long as you know how to communicate with your partner and you're both on the same team, you're both working towards the same goals. To me, that's a healthy relationship.
What does healthy communication consist of?
Okay, for myself in my relationship, when we first got together, we actually sat down and we set boundaries. And one of the rules that we have in our relationship is that if we have a disagreement, no matter how bad or light of a disagreement it is, before we go to bed that day, it needs to be discussed and it needs to be solved. And she looked at me. We were talking one night, sitting on the couch watching TV, and she says, "Well, what if it's 11 o'clock or midnight and we get into an argument?" I said, "Well, then I guess you're staying up."
I love it.
Oh, okay.
Right. Because that's just how it is. That's something that my parents taught me, that if you have a fight and you go to bed,
Gotta go to bed.
you're mad,
Mm-hmm.
that you're going to wake up even more mad than you were when you went to bed, because it's on your mind when you go to
Or
sleep.
you might not wake up and
Ex-
you win. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and my parents also told me that any good relationship is going to have arguments.
Right.
Nothing is that smooth. And if it's easy, it's not worth it.
Yeah.